Hey, good evening. It is now 6:32 p.m. I'd like to call the regular Cultural Heritage Commission meeting of February 16th, 2023 to order. Before I proceed, I'd like to take a moment to go over our meeting protocols for today. The South Pasadena Cultural Heritage Commission meeting for February 16th, 2023 will be conducted both in person and virtually via Zoom. To maximize public safety while still maintaining transparency and public access, members of the public can observe the meeting via Zoom. At this time, I will ask staff to please take the roll.
Commissioner Cross,
Present.
Commissioner Morris,
She's
absent.
Excused.
Commissioner Ding,
Here.
Vice Chair Lopez, absent. Chair Gallatin,
Here.
you have quorum.
Thank you. Before we move on to our next item, approval of the agenda, I want to take this moment to officially welcome our newest member of the commission, Jeremy Ding. And I believe Matt Chang, our planning manager, had some comments that he wanted to share as well.
Thank you, Chair Gallatin. So staff would like to welcome new Commissioner Jeremy Ding to the commission. And he was appointed by the mayor this January, if I recall. So welcome Commissioner Ding to the commission. Now we have full commission now. So we're looking forward to work with Commissioner Ding and also the rest of the commission to accomplish many goals that are set out in the goal and objective for this upcoming year, as well as the next whatever's on the task for this commission to do. I guess maybe we can ask the commissioner to introduce themselves to let the commissioner Dean knows everybody's background. Thank you.
Yeah, you're on, Jeremy.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Ding. I've lived in South Pasadena since 2016, and I served on the Public Safety Commission. Prior to that, for 6 years, I was chair for 2 of those years, and this opportunity came up to serve again, and I put in for it, and I'm happy to be here and happy to serve. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're more than happy to have you. Thank you. Okay, at this point, then we will move on to approval of the agenda. Commissioners, do you have any requests for additions or revisions to tonight's agenda? If so, would you please raise your hand?
No.
Okay, seeing none, I would like a vote of the commission to proceed with approval of the agenda as submitted. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Yes. Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, okay. The agenda stands as constituted. Now is the time for disclosure of site visits and ex parte contacts by the commissioners for items on today's agenda. So we'll begin with Commissioner Cross. All right. Very good. Commissioner Ding?
None to report.
Thank you. And myself, I did drive by the site on Oak Street, and also regarding the one on El Centro, our subcommittee of myself and Vice Chair Lopez met last week with the applicant and designer for that project. So now is the time for public comment. This is the time for public comment on general items that are not on tonight's agenda. Staff, have we received any public comment requests in person or via Zoom?
We do not have any, we have not received any public comments in chambers. Guests on Zoom, please click the hand on the icon to make a public comment. And we do not have any public comments via Zoom.
All right, thank you very much. And let the record show that Vice Chair Lopez and our council liaison Znaimer are now present at tonight's meeting. We have, first off, the consent calendar items, which consist of 2 sets of minutes. These are for the regular meetings of July 21st, 2022 and August 18th, 2022. And I will ask my fellow commissioners if you have any corrections to either set of minutes.
None here.
Okay, and I had none either. So if someone would please like to make a motion on these two sets, I think it's okay if we make one motion for both sets of minutes. So I'll entertain that.
I'll so move.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed
I'll abstain.
and abstain. Thank you. All right, so the minutes, both sets are approved. And now we go to our first public hearing item, 1716 Wayne Avenue. Staff?
Thank you, Chair Gallatin and members of the commission. The item before you tonight, 1716 Wing Avenue, item number 4. Staff is requesting this item to be continued to the March 16, 2023 CHC meeting. And staff, if the commission agree with staff's recommendations, staff will need a motion and second.
Thank you. Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to continue.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the item is continued, and just for the benefit of the public that are watching on Zoom, just so you know, whenever the commission continues a project to a date certain, like we just did, the project does not, or the city does not send out notices again on it. It will show up on our March agenda, but it's not required by law to be noticed again. So let's move on to item 5, which is 504 El Centro Street. Matt?
Thank you, Chair. And the items request, for item number 5, staff is requesting the commission to continue this item to the next regular meeting, which is March 16, 2023. Thank you.
Okay, well, you know the drill. I'll take a motion.
Motion to continue.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we come to item 6, which is 1501 Oak Street, project number 2535-COA/TRP, certificate of appropriateness to add a 652 square foot first floor addition to the rear of an existing 1,488 square foot single family dwelling and removal of 2 trees for a property located at 1501 Oak Street. And our staff report will be presented by Mackenzie Goldberg.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Cultural Heritage Commission. Agenda item number 6 this evening is project number 2535 COA TRP for the property located at 1501 Oak Street. The subject site is a rectangular shaped lot located on the southerly side of Oak Street. The property is located within the Oak Laurel Historic District, which is comprised of 17 contributing resources. The district has a period of significance from 1886 to 1932 and contains a mixture of styles, including Craftsman, Tudor, and Spanish colonial revival. The site is currently developed with an 1,488 square foot single-family dwelling and a 229 square foot detached one-car garage. Both were originally built in 1922. Here is a street view of the existing property. It was designed in the prairie influence style. The property itself is zoned RS for residential low density, and it has a total lot size of 8,882 square feet. The project proposal is for a new 652 square foot addition to the rear of the existing residence. The applicant is also proposing to demolition the existing deck and replace it with a 481 square foot deck in the backyard. Here is the existing site plan. Here is a proposed site plan. The addition is highlighted in blue, and as you can see, it's concentrated in the rear of the existing, to the rear of the existing property. Here are the existing and proposed floor plans. Again, you can see the addition highlighted in blue, and you can see that it is concentrated to the rear of the existing residence. Here is the front elevation. There is no change being proposed to the front elevation. Here is the existing and proposed rear elevation that shows the addition in the back. Here is the existing and proposed east elevation on the side. And here is a west elevation, again showing the addition highlighted in blue. Here is the existing and proposed roof plans. Staff recommends that the Cultural Heritage Commission approve the project subject to the conditions of approval. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mackenzie. We'll begin now with questions for staff, and I'll turn to my right and ask Vice Chair Lopez, do you have any questions of staff? Okay. Commissioner Ding and Commissioner Cross.
No questions.
I have none
Okay.
either. So thank you again for that presentation. Does the applicant have a presentation tonight?
The applicant does have a presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lisa Henderson, Harvest Architecture. Thank you for hearing our project tonight and welcome, Mr. New Commissioner.
My apologies.
Not to worry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mackenzie, for such a wonderful introduction to this project. Some of this will be repeat, so I might cruise by it a little bit faster. This house was built in 1922 in the Prairie style. It's in the Oak Laurel district. And I'll start here by a wonderful picture that was found by the owners. This is a picture circa 1974, so it's obviously not from the 20s, but it's a great example of what it used to look like. And you'll see that just to refresh our memories, the Prairie style, of course, came after a little bit, the Craftsman style. Frank Lloyd Wright is the one who kind of coined that in Chicago. As it came across to California in 1922, this is really pretty prevalent of it. It's got the horizontality to it, the minimalism, very simple. It's got big kind of clusters of large windows. And then one of the most, I think, impactful focal points of the facade of this house are the beautiful Prairie style windows. And in this, a typical one is a 9 light. This one's a 6 light, actually, when you get up a little bit closer. So it's a wonderful facade to the house. Of course, one of the other things that's prevalent in the Prairie style is just that simplicity. So it's got a band across it to give that horizontality, and it's just got a simple parapet roof. It's a stucco that's very simple. The windows are very simple again, but the sashes are a little bit more complicated. As Mackenzie already indicated, we've got the existing on the left, and then the proposed is on the right. You'll see that what we are proposing to do by adding that square footage We're doing it on the rear, and we're doing it in such a way that's in keeping with the Secretary of Interior standards. Everything is subordinate to the original. You'll see the setback on the west, the left-hand side, is subordinate to the original as well. It's a bigger setback, so it's definitely differentiating the existing south elevation cut off where the house is to the proposed. And in addition to that, that's a little bit hard to see in the floor plan. We actually have the existing sitting higher than the proposed floor plan. So you come into the back door there on the right, and then you go up a few risers so that it's definitely differentiated. Just to give you a couple of bird's eye views with some 3D models. This is the proposed square footage, and you'll see there that proposed addition on that rear is definitely a little bit lower, smaller, and more subordinate from the original architecture. And then just cruising around a little bit to the western side, you'll see the facade of this house is definitely taking center stage. It's higher than the rest of everything. And as you go down towards the south on the property, the house is just naturally stepping down and stepping back. Just to look at some street views to give you a better idea. We're starting at the front of the house here. So again, you'll see the 6 light prairie style windows with the very symmetrical layout of the house at the beginning. And then you've got flanking the front facade area set back a little bit, but the original portion of the house, you've got 2 clerestory windows there that are quite nice. And that original 1974 or the old 1974 picture shows a lot of trees that are quite big. It doesn't have the same trees there now, but it definitely features a lovely facade. As you start approaching from the eastern side, what we've done here is shown you the 3D model with the existing trees that are there. But for your help, I guess, to help you, we've grayed them out a little bit. So you'll see a bit of a tone. So what you see is like a ghosted tree. This is what you actually don't see from that public right-of-way on the sidewalk, but you would if all the trees were gone, just to help aid your understanding of the structure. So that side up the driveway that's original, there's 2 windows and then a door with a couple of steps that go up that are quite lovely as well. We're of course proposing to keep those. And then we have a couple of windows that we're proposing to eliminate that are not looking as their original, they're jalousie windows. And then we're proposing to put 2 new windows that are in keeping with the style of the original. So you'll see that there. And as we cruise around towards our western side, you're still seeing up the driveway. You see the garage that's there in the distance with the wonderful doors that are meant to be kept. We're not touching the garage at all. And then you can kind of see where all of the clusters of the fenestration are really towards the front of the house and then at the side towards the front, being a little bit more special, having that negative and positive space, which is prevalent in the prairie style. And then cruising past that front facade, which we already showed you, you're starting to get a bit of an idea on the western side, looking kind of up the neighbor's driveway there. And then as we cruise down, you'll see it's still, again, viewing from the public right-of-way on the sidewalk. You'll see way off in the distance there, you'll see how it steps back. You'll see a little bit of the proposed addition with a clerestory window that we're proposing that would be in keeping and paying homage to that front clerestory window that you see on the front as it's set back, and then of course on the facade as well. To give you a better idea, and I know you have a packet in front of you, probably or on your iPads or computers, we thought it would be helpful for you to see a flat elevation. Of course, this isn't how you would see it in real life, but this might help illustrate what we're doing a bit better. So again, we're back to the front facade, just to refresh your memory. And just if you look at the slide on the right-hand side, you'll see a blue arrow that'll give you context to where we're looking from and to. So this is on the western side, just a flat. If we took away the fence, we took away all of the planting that are there and any of the trees, what you would see with just the structure. So you'll see that front on the right, or excuse me, the left-hand side, and then the existing windows that are there for the bedrooms. And then we're pushing the proposed addition back to definitely distinguish it from the original. And then we've got a really small window in there, which is actually a bathroom window. And then that clerestory window for the proposed primary bedroom to give lots of light, but also give privacy and pay homage to the front. Here's a view of the back, straight on as much as we can. Mackenzie mentioned about the proposed wood deck off the back. The site slopes ever so slightly down to the south from the front. So the way that you enter the house at the front, there's only a couple of steps, but as it enters the back, it's a few more. So what we're proposing to do is have the doors that are coming off the primary bedroom, having a landing there, and then coming down a couple of risers to then have another patio space that's coming down into the yard, giving them a little bit more privacy, but giving a little bit more outdoor space for the house. And then what you'll see on that right-hand view of the house, you'll see the differentiation between the height of the header of the windows. The proposed square footage, we're lowering the windows on this elevation to be in keeping with the height of the floor plane, but also to again illustrate that based on Secretary of Interior standards, this is subordinate to the original architecture. And then this is a look, again, not a realistic one, but one that'll hopefully illustrate things for you. So we're taking away all fences, all shrubs, all trees, etc. This is on the east side. So this is the driveway side of the property, looking at that wonderful cluster of the doors and then the side light double windows with the steps, and then the proposed windows that we are looking to do after removing the jalousie windows that are not existing. And that's what I have for you. I hope that helped.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Now we will entertain any questions for the applicant from the commission, and I'll begin this time with Commissioner Cross.
I have no questions.
Okay. Vice Chair Lopez.
No questions, just one comment.
Okay.
Next time, it would be great to have some of these in the packet.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can add a few of these.
Great
views.
feedback.
That would be they're fabulous. So
We have in the packet, there's some existing photos and then some 3D shots, I believe.
But
Yeah.
next time,
Yeah, thank you.
you've done the work already, so you just
Sure,
just
thank you,
put them on the
Commissioner.
pages. A few of those would be great.
Wonderful. Okay, thank
Very
you
good.
so much.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Ding.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I just have a couple quick questions for you,
Sure.
Lisa. On your sheet A 2.0, under the sheet notes, there's a note there about removing doors and windows and salvaging them for
Repair or reuse.
donation. Yeah, need stronger glasses or reuse as required.
Correct.
Do you know at this point which doors and windows can be reused, or is that still to be determined?
That's a boilerplate note that we have so
Okay.
that any contractor working on any of our projects with our clients doesn't throw anything away.
Yeah.
Because if there's an interior door that is original that we can reuse, then we're going to take maybe a 30-inch door that doesn't work for a 32-inch bedroom
Right.
requirement, but we could put it in a closet, based on the building code. So we want to make sure that anything gets saved.
Okay.
And then if it gets donated or, salvaged in some other way to recycle it, then we just don't want anything to be thrown in a landfill.
Very good. Last question had to do with the garage. It wasn't called out on the elevations, but it looks like from the way it's drawn that the east and west walls of the garage have horizontal wood siding.
There's siding, yeah, it's a little bit
Okay.
hinky, yeah.
The renderings, I think, showed it as stucco, so I wasn't clear.
Oh,
I
okay,
couldn't tell
yeah, there's a
from the
couple of
street.
elevations that are the stucco and then 2 elevations where it's siding.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of a mosh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to tell the applicant, I've driven by this home probably 1,000 times at least over the last 42 years here. And I've always liked it because of its simplicity and its symmetry. And we don't have very many prairie style homes in South Pasadena. This is really a great example of one. And I really have to commend you and your architectural team on the presentation, and the design of this is really kind of textbook as to how to do it. So very
Thank
good
you.
job.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, well, since there are no other questions, I will at this point open the public hearing. And staff, are there any public comments for this item?
We have one public comment. Francis Rentimister. When you come to the microphone, please, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners, Council Member. Thank you for meeting with us today. My name is Frances Rentmeester. My husband Andy and I are owners of 1501 Oak Street, which is the project being presented to you today. Our family moved here to South Pasadena in 2016. We're drawn here by the small town charm, the stellar school system, and the beautiful historic homes that make up the landscape of this wonderful city. Andy and I are no strangers to renovations. We've remodeled every single home we've lived in and we've owned. We're most excited by this project. It's a chance to repair and restore this beautiful and unique 1922 prairie style home. Coincidentally, the very first house we bought and remodeled 15 years ago was a 1933 Spanish colonial in the Bay Area. It was also in a city very reminiscent of South Pasadena, filled with early 1900s craftsmen, tutors, Spanish style houses. And historic preservation was also a priority there as well. So it feels like we've come full circle as we prepare to create our family home here. We have the utmost respect for preserving our neighborhood and intend to be good stewards and caretakers of 1501 Oak Street. We respectfully ask that you approve this project so that we can move forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we will then, let me note for the record also that prior or earlier in the day, we did receive 2 public comments in writing in favor of tonight's proposal. So at this point, seeing no other public comment, we can close the public hearing and begin commissioner discussion. And I will turn to my vice chair. I'm sorry, staff, is there anybody on Zoom?
We do not have any attendees on Zoom,
No,
but if
thank
you want
you.
me
Thank
just
you.
to ask.
So Conrado, did you want to begin discussion on this?
Sure. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's I echo your words, Mark, that they follow the intent and the scale, the massing, it's absolutely beautiful. So I appreciate. I'm just excited for you guys to do this work and to improve the house but still keep all the charm of it. So I was quite happy to see the design and how it came out. So it's very nice. So thank you so much. I had a question. In terms of, and it's more for the city, the parking. I see that there's no additional. There's only one car. Is there a second structure of parking in the site or no? There's only that one single. Okay.
Yeah, so there is only the 1-car garage. In the staff report, I discussed there's a code section that allows a waiver for parking for
Perfect.
historic
So,
resources.
sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good.
I missed it.
Mackenzie, when we do make a motion and recite the findings, do we have to make a separate finding with regards to the parking requirement?
No, because I believe that happens at the director level.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're not doing trees. Also, that's not part of what we.
No. That was in there for our information, right?
So again, thank you. It was great. So lovely. Good luck.
Commissioner Ding, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just have a procedural question in my first meeting.
Yeah.
The applicant and the homeowner are allowed to speak as part of the applicant presentation, right? Because I know
Correct.
she did it at public comment.
Yes.
But she would not actually, she would be able to speak more than 3 minutes if she wanted to, as part of the applicant.
Yeah, I mean, the applicant presentation section, there's no designated time
I just
limit on
wanted to
it, so,
clarify
yeah.
what the standard procedure
Yeah.
was.
But I
think-
appreciate you respecting the 3-minute public comment requirement. Thank you.
Yeah, and my other question is, the staff report mentions that there will be a removal of trees.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to ask what kind of trees, like size or species,
Okay.
we know.
I have it as a slide on our PowerPoint. I don't know if you want to bring it up.
No, that wasn't-
You can go right to the very bottom. Oh, it's okay. You can go to the very bottom couple of slides. Oh, I'll just cruise through. This will, oh, there we go. I messed it up entirely. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was going to kick me out. Can you just scroll down? Because it's literally it's all the way at the bottom.
Sorry, yeah, your PowerPoint wasn't in our agenda packet, so, and it wasn't.
Pardon me?
This PowerPoint is not in our agenda packet, and it's also not in the staff report, so sorry for making.
Correct. Yeah,
up.
the tree, I think, happened.
Actually,
afterwards.
in our packet is sheet A 1.20, which
It shows the trees,
the
right?
3 locations, and there's a legend.
Oh, there is.
Right, so the 2 trees to be proposed to be removed are a red box and a carrot wood.
You want me to keep on going?
I will.
Oh, okay, you got it.
I'll cruise back. We threw. So it's pretty small, but you'll see number 10 and number 11 are very close to the southern edge of the house there. The way that they're existing, they're already cracking the foundation. So even if the proposal wasn't happening, there would be a proposal to remove the trees. And if you see those trees, they're very close to the house and might have been planted as a tiny little thing that they didn't know it was going to get that big. So those are the 2 trees that are being proposed to be removed.
All right, thank you very much. I did find it. I might need a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
But it is here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For addressing that.
Anything further, Commissioner Day? Thank you. Commissioner Cross.
I have nothing to really add, except I appreciate the restraint that was showed in land development here.
Yes, Council Members Znaimer.
I would just comment on the removal of the trees, and there's also a requirement that you replace it. And so I don't know if you have to go to Public Works because they are in charge of the tree replacement requirements.
Thank you. We've already put in our request for the tree removal with Public Works, and they've already approved it, which is why it was put together, I believe, on this application, so that then there would be the 10-day appeal before it could potentially be removed. So it's already been approved.
I'd
And all
also
of
add that I believe there's a condition of approval to plant 6 replacement trees, correct? Yeah.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay. Well, again, I won't restate what I said previously, but again, this is really a textbook project on how to do it properly. And with that, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I propose a motion to approve as submitted, that it follows all the guidelines and
For the findings of the staff report.
meets the findings on the staff report.
Okay. All right. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Seconded by Commissioner Cross. Staff, would you please take roll call?
Commissioner Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Ding,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lopez,
Yes.
Chair Gallatin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Congratulations. Good luck with your project under construction. Mhm. Okay, now we'll move into the administration part of our agenda. And as always, we begin with comments from our city council liaison, Council Member Znaimer.
Yes, the Shakers building is being purchased by Greenbridge for their project. And I am really curious if the Cultural Heritage Commission have an opinion on the style of Shaker's building. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer from my perspective. I would decline to answer that question simply because it may come before us on a formal agenda in the future. In fact, I would share with my fellow commissioners, you know, I've been approached by some folks in the community who want to have a discussion about that building and possible landmark designations and things like that. And I've respectfully asked not to be part of those conversations because I don't want to prejudice myself when and if it comes before this commission for a decision.
That's all my comment.
Commissioner Ding.
Oh, just to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Would that be something that, like, how would that process actually be initiated? Would a staff report be
Well,
requested?
that I could answer. I
Okay.
could ask staff to answer. What does the code say, Matt, with regards to landmarking, and how does that process begin, and where does it go once it's initiated?
Yes, so thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Nimer and rest of the commissions. So without naming any specific property per se, in generalize, so for a building needs wants to go to a landmark process, the property owner or an applicant needs to submit a request to the culture, to staff, and what staff will need to do will present the landmark application to the Cultural Heritage Commission. And in the next step for Cultural Heritage Commission is just to form a subcommittee to review that request. I think late last year that we received a request for a property on Arroyo Drive, which Maricel Lopez and Commissioner Cross went out for that landmark for that single family house. So that's for the landmark process. And the applicant needs to submit a request to the city, then we'll bring that item to the Cultural Heritage Commission for consideration for subcommittee review, and we'll take it from that perspective. As far as the demolition, and if a property owner wants to demolish a house, a building, and the process is that the applicant would need to place a deposit with the city. City will hire a consultant, an architectural historian or historian consultant working on behalf of the city as a city consultant to evaluate that request. And that application process will go in front of this body for review or an approval. And for example, last year we presented 3 single family houses that went before this commission, and they'll all prepare. The report was prepared by the city selected consultant, and the commission's role is to review that report and to determine that whether you agree with consultant's recommendation.
Matt, can I ask a couple follow-up questions? You started off by saying that the process could be initiated by the property owner or the applicant. Isn't it true that the code says that anyone can nominate or begin the process for landmarking?
Yes, that's why staff correct myself. It is the property owner or applicant. Applicant could be any individual, any group, or nonprofit profit organization. They could submit the landmark application on behalf of that property owner. However, what happened is that city in return, we have to notify the property owner of that such process, because we have to make sure that the property owner is aware of someone is requesting an application on his or her own property. The more due diligence we have to let that property owner know, so he or she can go to whether he or she agrees, but at least it is a due process.
So follow up to that, is property owner consent required in order to landmark a building?
Property owner consent is not required, but by municipal code, city will need to do, if staff remember correctly, we have to send out a letter to inform property owner any public hearing date and time, so the property owner has opportunity to voice, to speak up on behalf his or her own interests.
Okay. One more question. The building in question that the vice mayor mentioned, I think the address is 601 Fair Oaks. Is it currently on our inventory of cultural resources?
It is staff understanding that the building is currently not on the inventory.
Correct. I'll just add to that back in 2017, when the city did a update, a survey with the intention of updating the inventory, that property was looked at. I honestly, I don't remember what the findings were, but it was part of a group of buildings that came under the heading of mid-century architecture. That was part of that survey. And at that time in 2017, the council declined to take definitive action on the survey. They basically said, staff, we want you to do more outreach to the community, outreach to the property owners. And so they didn't, approve or deny the application or the survey. And Matt, you might want to say a couple of things about what the department has planned this year for picking up or reviving that survey effort.
Yes, staff, I guess maybe staff will reserve to the comment from staff and like Mayor Pro Tem Zanaimer and also Chair Gallatin mentioned that staff try to be sensitive of not going to too detail on items not on the agenda.
Right. Okay, very good.
I have a just procedural follow-up question for any landmark, not a specific property in question. So for the demolishing, there is a deposit that is required in order to get an architectural study done. But for landmarking, I can imagine a situation where someone wants to landmark, someone's single-family home, but the homeowners actually don't want that to happen. Is there someone or organization that needs to come up with a deposit for any type of study, or it just comes straight to the commission with a staff report?
So, for example, if a single-family home wants to go to the landmark process, the applicant
the homeowner actually does not want this to happen.
Oh yeah,
the group wants to landmark their home.
So the applicant, so not the homeowner, the applicant will need to submit the application, also provide kind of a background information. Why is it unique? Why it met the criteria to be landmark? And the review process that should be involved with the staff and also the subcommittee of this Cultural Heritage Commission. But the applicant would need to provide information, background, and also supporting documents.
But I just wanted to clarify, it's a different process than the deposit required for the historic study, as in demolishing something on the historic inventory.
It is a different process.
Thank you.
And Matt, in the hypothetical situation that Commissioner Ding just outlined, where the applicant, being the person or persons who are proposing that it be landmark, separate and apart from the owners of the property, would they be responsible for hiring the consultant to prepare that report, or is that something that they put a deposit and the city hires that person to maintain objectivity?
Chair Gallatin, you mean the demolition or the landmarking?
No, I'm referring to the landmarking process.
For the landmarking process, the city code doesn't specify any deposit related, and also city consultant involvement. Is more the applicant submit the application, and also the procedural is staff will bring the item before you, and the commission will form a subcommittee like what we did a couple of months ago. And the subcommittee, based on your expertise, your background, you will visit the site, also meet with the property owner, and also do a lot of background research, and to make a recommendation to the full body, the whole commission, and the commission can make a recommendation to the city council, and the city council will be the ultimate decision maker.
Right. All right, thank you. And I'm sorry, I want to apologize to Mayor Pro Tem Znaimer for referring to her as council member and then as Vice Mayor Znaimer. Long day, sorry. Did you have anything else, Evelyn, you wanted to add? Okay, all right. Next, we'll hear from our fellow commissioners, and let's start off with Commissioner Cross. Any comments?
No comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Lopez.
No comments.
Okay, Commissioner Ding.
Nothing today. Thank you.
Okay, I had nothing either. So next up, any comments from any of our subcommittees? Seeing none.
Just out of curiosity,
Yes,
do we
sir.
have any standing subcommittees?
Yes, we do. Matt, did you want to address that?
It is staff's recollection that currently we have two subcommittee. One is actually two active subcommittee. One is a Mills Act application involving, I don't remember this, I think 1010 Mission Street, which composed of Vice Chair Lopez and Commissioner Cross. That project still active. And another subcommittee, like Chair Gallatin mentioned, that it was El Central 504 El Central Street for the room addition, two-story room addition project.
Right.
So we have those two active subcommittee.
Right.
And earlier this year, we have another subcommittee for the landmark, but that work conducted by the subcommittee was concluded. So the landmark project will go to City Council tentatively for March 15. So, but that subcommittee is no longer active. So right now we have two.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is comments from the South Pasadena Preservation Foundation liaison, yours truly. I just want to bring the commissioners up to speed. I had a meeting last month in my capacity as a board member with a lady named Dr. Teddy Hudson, and she and her family owned Wynyate, the famous Victorian mansion here in our town. They lived there in the late 60s and early 70s. And she has a wealth of photographs and other memorabilia and a painting of the home that was done during that time that she really wants to share with the rest of the community. So this is the second meeting I've had with her. And she's also met with Kathy Billings, our library director. And we've actually chosen a tentative date for an exhibition at the library, which is May 6th. So put that down on your calendars tentatively. I don't have a time yet, but we're hoping to bring the artist in from Riverside who painted the painting of Wynyate, and Dr. Hudson will be there. She has some great stories about growing up in the house, including ghost stories. Yeah, and some of the things that were found in a time capsule on the property. It's just fascinating, all the facts and stories and memories that she has of that place. So the Preservation Foundation, together with the library, want to present that to the community in May. And you may ask why in May? Because May is Preservation Month. And so we thought that would be timely. So, all right. And last but never least, comments from staff.
Thank you, Chair. So staff have a few comments. So our director, Angelica Frasalupo, and also Deputy Director Allison Baker can't make it today because currently they have another community going on, Caltrans meeting, which is at World Memorial Building. So they have another meeting to attend to. So apologize for their absence. But at City Council meeting last night, staff presented the update to our housing element program. So both, it was a joint meeting between City Council as well as the Planning Commission. Staff presented the analysis and also idea and recommendations, and staff got favorable and also very supportive directions from the City Council members as well as the Planning Commissioners. And a couple items that might be interest to the Coach Heritage Commission is staff's looking to kind of housing element programs to kind of streamline the application process. One of the items is, I think Commissioner mentioned it in the past, that for demolition of single family houses, that from an obvious eye that doesn't need to go through a full-blown historical resource evaluation process. I think there was a project back in December that I think all commission agree that the applicant doesn't have to go through that expense. So staff is looking to explore a simplified HRE process that hopefully will reduce the cost to the applicant and the time. And however, the process is still going to be the same. You will still go before this commission body for review. The neighbor will still get notification, but the report itself won't be lengthy. The cost and time will be definitely reduced. Hopefully that will kind of encourage more production of housing as well as ADU. Another program staff is exploring to.
May I ask
Yes.
just one question? Just to be clear on that proposed streamlining measure, that would apply to structures 45 years or older that are not on our inventory,
Yes,
correct? Okay.
yes. Thank you for the clarification. So those are 45 years or older and not currently identified historical buildings. So if they're historical buildings, we still need to do a full evaluation and CEQA could be involved. So the second streamlining program that staff is exploring is for a smaller project, for example, single-story additions that on the same level, they're not going up, keeping the same building height, or sometimes even lower. That could be done as, for example, CHC chair review instead of in front of this body for review. The thought process that we have seen a lot last year that when the homeowner wants to do a room addition, they also want to do ADU as well. But based on our code requirements, the ADU cannot be approved until the room addition is approved. So sometimes they have to wait the room addition first, then we can approve the ADU. So the thought process that if we can streamline the single-story additions, the one that's less impactful to the neighbors, that could be done by chair review, which chair and staff can still review the development standards, the design criteria, make sure there's still enough differentiation between the existing and proposed. Hopefully that will can save the time and cost for the homeowner to build their addition and also eventually, of course, to build the ADU. But so there's just some program that staff is considering exploring. However, staff like to emphasize that the item will still need to go before this body, planning commission and city council. So, but just some ideas staff is throwing around. Couple item is like Chair Gallatin mentioned that one of the goal for staff as well as for the commission is staff will kind of work on the request for proposal RFP to update our historical resource survey. There was a survey conducted, prepared by the consultant back in 2015, 16, and 17, but was never adopted. So what we need to do, we're going to need to go back to the drawing board, go through the process, hire same consultant or different consultant. We'll see how much the cost is going to be, but we're going to do update our resource. The last time this resource survey was updated is 2002. So it's almost 20 years we need to update that resource to have a more up-to-date historical resource survey. And one more item is staff is currently working on CLG, which is Certified Local Government Annual Report. And the report is due March 31st to the state. So staff will kind of circle back with the commissioner to ask kind of some of your background information. For example, your resumes, the seminars or training you have attended this past year. There could be, for example, the ethic training, the Brown Act training, or any environmental, urban planning, historical research training, or the workshop you attend. So staff would leave that information, but staff will send the email to the commissioners to get that information. And this concludes staff's comment. And staff, any question? Do you have any questions?
Any questions of
Yeah,
staff?
I have a question. So one of the things we always got updated on my previous commission from staff was staffing. So, you know, we always hear, you know, we always have recruitment, retention, or whatnot, or shorthanded. So could you just provide a quick update on planning department, like staffing? Do you guys have a lot of openings? Are you guys hiring or whatnot?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Dean, for the quick question. So late last year, we lost 2 staff. One is planning technician, also one associate planners. And luckily, we recruit one position, which is a planning technician. He was introduced to City Council yesterday. And some of the commissioner, also the chair, vice chair, mayor, will need to, we were working with him pretty frequently based on a lot of chair review. So that planning technician position was filled. However, we still have one associate planning position that's still vacant at this point. So staff is working with the finance department and also the human resource department to get that position, going back to the market to recruit for that positions. And for staffing wise, I think the community development department, I think, is try to recruit or fill the position of a part-time co-enforcement officer, because right now we only have one enforcement officer in the city. And the idea is to have a part-time co-enforcement officer that can cover nights and weekends. I think we're still in the process of finalizing the background research and background check for that particular candidate. So I think they're the two opening positions in the department right now.
And just to clarify, for a code enforcement officer, that's for all city code, not just building and plant.
So the co-enforcement function will be more addressing, he won't be a building inspector, but he will be a generalized, identify, are they obtain permit for construction, but also health and safety. Are they hoarding? Are they have a trash can or also debris or abandoned vehicles? Okay. And kind of a wide variety of kind of.
I mean, that's actually a really good idea because for nights and weekends, you basically have to call the police department, and the police department officers either aren't trained or may not have the willingness to go out and enforce some of these things on the weekends. So you're pretty much stuck until Monday where you have to wait.
It may not be the best use of police resources for things like yard sales without permits or things like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if you need, support council, let us know.
All right. Any other questions for Matt? Okay. Well, we are then set to adjourn if there's no objection. We'll adjourn to the regular Cultural Heritage Commission meeting scheduled for Thursday, March 16th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in this room. Thank you, everybody.